All right, so running behind tonight. It's just a incredibly busy day, and then I had to do some video editing, and then I'm processing the video in the background on the same machine that I'm streaming on, which seems like a bad idea, but we'll see what happens. So, while I'm waiting for the video to process, I can't really go booting up Foundry or whatever. But my intention this evening at some point is to just grind out Foundry lessons. So I'm just going to be watching Encounter Library, I think is the series, and I'm just gonna learn everything I can tonight about Foundry. Just gonna grind it out. While I'm waiting for that to happen, there's another homebrew thingamajig that I wanted to take a look at, and it is this noise right here. Blackball's Treasure by Gurbintrll Games. I have never heard of Gurbintrll Games, but I saw a post about this on Reddit and wanted to check it out, and now there's time to do so. So, basically, what Blackball's Treasure does is it goes through. We'll paraphrase all this. Magic items good, claim to be optional. Everybody knows they're not. 5 categories of magical items. That sounds cool, except a lot of them are stupid. For example, why is Potion of Invisibility a legendary item? Why is Broom of Flying an uncommon item? It's stupid. The pricing's stupid, 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 stupid. Okay. So we're all agreed on that, right? That even Xanathar's didn't really clean up the mess that is all of that noise. Add to the complications of that the Artificer class, and their ability to craft magic items, and then the ability of the class says that they craft them at half the cost listed. So for only 250 gold each, Artificer at level 10, I want to say. Oh my god. Artificer at level 10 could just make everybody a Broom of Flying for 250 gold. So there's a lot of problems with buying and selling magic items. I know this firsthand. I am terrible about this. I give out lots of magic items. My Skills of War group probably doesn't feel that way, but they spoil babies. I use a service called 5e Magic Shop, who in turn uses the Sane Magical Item Pricing Guide for all of their stuff. I think this is a great service. I pay for this service. And I enjoy using this service and all of the extra services they have, like the travel time calculator. They've got a special thingy that designs teleportation circles. They got a fancy reincarnation table. They got all this good stuff. But I am starting to agree with some of the magical item prices that they have are kind of crap also. So I was curious what Gurbintrll had in store for us with this Blackball's Treasure Guide. Now, it's interesting because Blackball's Treasure actually takes all, I want to say, 380 magical items, something like that. Yep, 380 magical items from the DM's guide and the Xanthar's guide, and turns them into 10 categories of rarity instead of only 5, and then prices them accordingly. It also features new tables, parcel system like in 4th edition, which is always kind of cool, and I use in my games to this day. A wealth by level system, which is pretty handy if you've got you want to start a campaign halfway through, and then a residuum system for groups who prefer to have magic items crafted. That's exactly what we're doing in Paradise Vale, so yeah, this sounds like a good fit. So let's jump in here and take a look at it. And I got notes over here to the side in case anything really sticks out as being amazing. So I guess the first one would be the link to this document. Here we go. All right. So, Blackball's Treasure. How many pages is this bad boy? Hope it's not too many. Reading's the worst. All right, we'll get through it. Section 1 intro. The primary purpose of the document is to replace the DMG's rarity system. Okay, sounds good. We know that there's 5 normal rarities. So let's move on past that. In addition to actual rarities and prices, we have reorganized things to be more appropriate for their actual value. Makes sense. All right, so let's keep going. Maybe. Oh, there we go. Again, I'm processing a video in the background, so even trying to run Chrome browser is killing this thing. So let's see. All right. So here we go. They're classes now instead of rarity. So class 1 is suitable for inclusion in the player's handbook equipment list. Potion of healing. So basically anything that would qualify as pretty super common, not OP, important for quality of life would be in class 1. Class 2, suitable for starting characters to buy if they pool their resources. Okay. Class 3, suitable for first level characters to find randomly. All right. You can already see that the prices are much higher than DM's Guide, Xanathar's, or Sane magical items. I'm already seeing that there's going to be some spikes here in prices. This will be very useful for Paradise Vale, where we are trying to make it gold poor and magic item poor setting to increase the difficulty. All right, class 4, suitable for third level characters to find randomly. Mithril armor, average value 1250. Class 5, suitable for fifth level characters to find. Hey, that's interesting. Okay, 3500 GP value. Class 6 is suitable for 8th level characters to find. For example, Gauntlets of Ogre Power. Interesting. 12,500 gold pieces. Class 7 is suitable for 11th level characters to find. Rings of Invisibility, etc., etc. 40,000 gold piece value. 8 would be 14th level characters. So a Staff of Fire, for example. Let's see. Oh, I guess I should also probably post the link to this PDF into chat in case anybody wants to read along. Okay, so suitable for 14th level characters, 100,000 gold. Suitable for 17th level characters is class 9, 200,000 gold, and suitable for 20th level characters, aka a Vorpal Sword, 400,000 gold. Alright. I'm already on board for this shit. I'm already on board for it. Alright. Introduction, you read in it, item list, treasure parcels. Nice, that's the 4th edition thing. Hoard item tables. So this is if you need to make a treasure hoard. Published adventure guidelines tells you how to fix some issues, I guess, with published adventures. Wealth by level could be useful. Essence is an adaptation of the 4th edition Residuum rules in a form that is compatible with the item list in section 2, presented for those who have characters who want to make their own items. Awesome. And item pricing, this is more of an appendix than anything else. It shows a list of all the items that were put into item list, and for each one it shows how the level for each item was that it was suitable for was calculated in case you needed justification. I am always impressed by homebrew rules that feel like they have to take the extra step of like Phoenix Wright Attorney explaining their decisions. There was somebody that converted every monster in the monster manual into a playable race, and then every entry was followed by like a dissertation about why they built it the way they did. It was incredible. All right, let's check it out. What is a basic bitch magical item and costs about 50 gold? Bead of Nourishment, agree. Bead of Refreshment, agreed. Candle of the Deep, go for it. Horn of Silent Alarm, okay. Instrument of Scribing, yeah. Oil of Slipperiness, Potion of Animal Friendship, Potion of Healing, Potion of Heroism, okay. Spell Scroll and Veteran's Cane. I kind of love the idea that these items are something that you could purchase like right out the gate. So if the DM was like, yeah, we're all starting at like level 3 and you have 500 gold for starting equipment, these would be considered the kind of magical items that any big city would just have on hand. I think that's pretty cool. All right. Class 2, Ion Stone of Sustenance. Ooh, I don't know about that for darker dungeons. So we'll put a DD notes off to the side here. Because we kind of want them to, you know, track all that kind of stuff. But I could see Ion Stone of Sustenance. 150 gold? Yeah, I could do that. Yeah, Potion of Heroism's, I kind of agree. I kind of agree with that as a low level item. So, yeah, it definitely could work. A lot of these items you never really see in play, right? Because nobody likes to give them out because they're kind of lame. So, like, if you had them just available to people, or you treated them as a more common item, you might actually see them used in play more. Uh, Something that Paradise Vale design is teaching me that I needed to learn this lesson is that consumables are better than permanent magical items because consumables can be really cool because then they're gone. So you could make a consumable way better than you could make a permanent item because worst case scenario, you deal with that consumable like once or twice, and then that consumable's gone. Whereas a powerful magical item, if you give it out, now you are stuck with that powerful magical item like forever. So consumables definitely seem to be the way to go with this stuff. And that's why in Giffyglyph's latest release for Darker Dungeons, there's a bigger push for oils and powders and potions and things like that, because you need to have ways to be strong and compete with the monsters and also spice things up, but you don't need to just be weighed down with a Casey Jones golf bag full of magical items and weapons. So and I agree with that design idea. All right, so class 2 items: Ion Stone of Sustenance, Mystery Key, Spell Scroll, first level. Um, I kind of get the feeling that each one of these is going to be a spell scroll of the next level, which sucks for wizards because this is definitely going to be much more expensive for spell scrolls. But I don't know. I'm okay with it. Uh, so apparently the only class 2 items they could think of were these three: Ion Stone, Mystery Key, and Spell Scroll. And then they immediately jump on over to class 3 items, which are Alchemy Jug, personal favorites, Armor of Gleaming. So basically all that junk from Xanathar's, all that like bullshit trinkety kind of stuff is probably going to be this category. Cast Off Armor, Charlatan's Die, Cloak of Billowing, Cloak of Many Fashions, Clockwork Amulet, Clothes of Mending, Dark Shard, Amulet, Dreadhelm, Drift Globe, Dust of Dryness, Earhorn of Hearing, Elixir of Health. Okay, that's kind of cool. Enduring Spellbook, Irat's Eye, Eyes of Charming, Hat of Vermin, Hat of Wizardry, Heward's Handy Spice Pouch, Instrument of Illusions, Lock of Trickery, Orb of Direction, Pipe of Smoke Monsters. Uh, Poles, pots. All right, potion of climbing, potion of diminu- di- diminution, diminution. Oh my god. Potion of fire breath, potion of greater healing. Okay, potion of growth, invisibility, potion of mind reading. Okay, all this is kind of jiving with sane magical item prices for the most part. Rope of Mending, Smoldering Armor, and second level spell scrolls. Okay. As well as the Wand of Smiles, the Wand of Scowls. Yeah, so all the junky stuff from Xanathar's got put in this category. All right. Class 4, we're dealing with magical ammunition plus 1. One piece? Is this one piece of magical ammunition? They want 1,254? Holy shit. Circle of Blasting, a figurine of Wondrous Power, Raven. Okay. Iron Bands of Belaro, Javelin of Lightning. Okay. One thing that a lot of these have in common is they don't require an attunement slot, which is interesting. All right. Third level spell scrolls, Universal Solvent, a Wand of Magic Missiles. Oof. Wand of Magic Missiles for only 1250. anyone can use a wand of magic missiles, and it doesn't take an attunement slot. I want to say it's kind of like a standard issue. Like everybody should have a wand of magic missiles. You know, if you're playing like to level 10 plus, you should have a wand of magic missiles on you. There are so many times where like monsters try to flee, and if everybody just had a wand of magic missiles, they could just, you know, anime missile swarm, nuke them down, and that would be that. So, wind fan is kind of interesting. Parapet of wound closure. Okay, these are solid choices. I could kind of see that. You notice though we haven't even seen a +1 weapon yet. I don't think I'm imagining that. All right, but now we're at level 5, which is also level 5 for your character. Adamantine armor, which is insane. It shuts down critical hits. I don't know if I would have put that for a level 5 character, but you know, whatever. Um, ammunition, arrow of slaying, bag of holding. Bag of holding for 3,500 is about right. Market value is usually about 3,000. Beat of force. Let's say boots of strutting and springing, bracers of defense, chime of opening, the good old cloak of elven kind, a decanter of endless water, dust of disappearance. Let's see. I'll zoom in a little bit here. There we go. All right, and then we've got, wow, figurine of wondrous power, bronze griffin. You're just gonna let somebody buy a flying mount 35? Well, I mean, you're not gonna let them, but I mean, I guess that would be where it's at. 3,500. It's not nearly as good as a broom of flying because this can only be used for a couple hours a week, and then it's done. Whereas a broom of flying has no duration and no special requirements. So all these Pokemans are in this category. Gloves of swimming, climbing, goggles of night. There we go. That's way more expensive for goggles of night, and I like it. So that's cool. How to disguise should definitely carry a more expensive cost because it's an endless level 1 spell. Handy haversack. Yeah, I guess it should be in the same category as bag of holding. I guess. And then pearl of power. This is a lot of the stuff that people really, really like. Interesting to me that a moon touch sword, which is a lot of people consider kind of a throwaway, is in this category. Which makes me wonder if vicious weapon is going to be in this category also. Let's see. Filters of love, which should probably be removed for the game because it's kind of date rapey, but you know, whatever. Let's see. Ring of feather falling, ring of jumping, ring of shooting stars, which is a great ring. Robe of useful items. There we go. +1 weapon and vicious weapon are in the same category. I guess if you're looking to break through the damage threshold of creatures that can only be hit by magical weapons, that would make sense. I guess that would make sense. Which I think is the rationale. I would say that this category 5 has some of the most commonly sought after magical items that I see as a DM doing 5th edition for 6 years. Those are definitely most of the ones that people are after. All right, let's see what's going on with class 6, which they shouldn't be able to access these items until they're level 8, and if they can build or buy them, it should cost them at least 12,500 gold. So +3 ammunition. I can tell you right now, I ain't charging 12,000 gold for one piece of ammunition +3, though admittedly +3 ammunition can hit a god, so I guess there's that. Keep in mind the magical ammunition, once you use it, whether you hit or miss, it's done. As soon as you fire it, it's done. Amulet of Health. Pretty good. Pretty good. It's amazing, actually. Let's see. Wait, is it though? Which one am I thinking of? If I think about the Amulet of Health as the one that gives you Constitution bonus, or I'm thinking of Amulet of Health, the one that protects you from disease. Hold on. Let's see. Amulet of Health. No, yeah, this is the one. Gives you a 19 Constitution. It's absolutely incredible item. Absolutely incredible. should it cost 12,000? Well, currently I think Sane only charges like 4,000 for it, and fucking Odyssey the Dragonlord wants me to let the players buy them for like 500 a piece. Yeah. So 12,500 seems, like the right category for that. Armor plus 1 costs 12,000. Wow. Boots of Speed, Bracers of Archery, Cape of Mont Blanc, which allows you to Dimension Door, which is amazing. Um, okay. So, let's see. Nope, we need this column. That's the problem with zooming in so much. What else do we got here? A Dagger of Venom, a Deck of Illusions, a Dragon Slayer weapon, Elemental Gem. This is a disposable one-use item that summons an elemental, which is very powerful. Sane magical items prices it at only 500 gold. This guide is pricing it at 12,500. You would definitely think twice before using your elemental gem if you knew it was worth 12,500 gold. The problem with this guide that I'm seeing so far is that if you allow the buying of magical items, then you are implying that there is also a selling of magical items. So I would imagine that any adventuring party that got an elemental gem would try to sell that elemental gem, even if they only sold it for half as much. That's 6,250 gold. So, yeah, every time I found an elemental gem, I would just be like, yeah, 6,000 gold. I wouldn't be like, I can't wait to smash 12,000 gold on the ground so I could summon an elemental for one fight. I don't know. I wouldn't see the value of it. So that's a weird one for me. I understand action economy is important, and I understand that you wouldn't want people to be able to craft these super easily, which I think is what this guide is most concerned about. It sounds like this guy and his group were traumatized by artificers. Honestly, we should do a weekly support group for 5th edition D&D groups who have been traumatized by artificers, because I think there's a lot of people out there who have had artificers ruin their lives. So this guide, I think, is a testament to one artificer too many pushing this guy over the limits. So yeah, I guess I could see that. Elemental gem, crafting it, yeah, that's I definitely wouldn't want my artificer to be able to crank those out every 500, so 250. So every 10 days of downtime, your artificer could make another elemental gem, which is kind of crazy. Anybody could use them. Doesn't require attunement. Doesn't require concentration. You just throw it on the ground. Bam. Pokemon comes out. That's kind of nuts. You do a flying one. Now you could fly because you could just command it to carry you around. It's pretty bananas. Considering that summoning an elemental takes 10 rounds of spellcasting and I think some expensive components, I would say that, yeah, I guess in the end, this is a smart decision. Alright, Folding Boat, Gauntlets of Ogre Power. Oh man, I could see a lot of low-level people crying their eyes out for a long time because Gauntlets of Ogre Power locked behind 8th level. I'd almost take this a step further and put a level requirement, video game style, on the equipment. If it's in this category, you have to actually have that character level to take advantage of that magical item. I mean, it's very video gamey, but in a setting like Paradise Vale, we could argue that magic has become dangerous, blah, 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 and trying to use magical items that you are not strong enough to command will inevitably cause the items to be cursed, having opposite effect, blah, 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 blah. So, let's see, a Giant Sling Sword, Gloves of Thievery, Instrument of the Bard. Oh, man. As a person who's had an Instrument of the Bard, and as a DM who's given out Instrument of the Bard, let me tell you, Bard is already really strong. Instrument of the Bard is broken. It's super broken. It is a really good magical item. This is the weakest of the versions of it. They only get stronger from here. Yeah, if I was a bard, I would that you could buy or build magical items. All of my money would go to a piggy bank, and it would go towards having an Instrument of the Bard built. Because if you're a bard, Instrument of the Bard is where it's at. It's insanely powerful. I find it interesting that the majority of Chamomile's equipment is in this category. She's got expensive taste, apparently. All right, Rod of the Pact Keeper. If you're a warlock, you're gonna have this kind of deal or want this. Sword of Life Stealing. Okay. Wand of the War Mage. Wand of Web. Yeah, I would like someone to have to pay 12,500 for a Wand of Web. Wand of Web is insanely powerful. Winged Boots. Yeah. Okay, I agree. I think those are good placements. Let's see. So then we've got this category 7, which I believe you have to be level 10 or 11 at this point. Cloak of Displacement, 40,000. That's about how much it runs in sane magical item prices. But this is where we're leaving sane magical item prices behind, because I don't think there's too much insane magical item prices that goes above 40k. Let's see. Gem of Brightness, Glamored Studded Leather, Ion Stones that actually change your freaking stats, Lantern of Revealing, which is hilarious that they put Lantern of Revealing here, considering I think like a baby artificer could just make one. I don't even know. Parapet of Health. Let's see. I find it weird that they would put Parapet of Health above Amulet of Health. Amulet of Health automatically gives you 19 Constitution. I don't know if that was a mix-up or what. Ring of Genie Summoning. Ring of Free Action. Ring of Invisibility. Ugh. I have so many regrets reading this list, because these are very well thought out, and I can kind of understand why they slotted them the way they did, especially when you consider artificers could build magical items as a class feature. Staff of Healing, Staff of the Adder, Stone of Controlling Earth Elementals, a Sunblade, Sword of Sharpness, Trident of Fish Command. Honest to God, every published adventure tries to give out a Trident of Fish Command, and nobody wants them. Nobody wants them. There's just a pile of unwanted Tridents of Fish Command. It's crazy. Even in like my pirate games, nobody wants a Trident of Fish Command. It's so bad. Wand of Fireballs costing 40k. Wand of Lightning Bolts costing 40k. I will agree with that. Having had a campaign where a guy had a Wand of Lightning Bolts from like level 4 or some shit. Thank you, Sly Flourish, for that idea. All the way through the whole campaign, I could definitely understand this being a more powerful weapon. Wings of Flying. I find it interesting that Boots of Flying managed to make it so low, but Wings of Flying is here. Let's see. Items worth 100,000. The Giant Belts. Okay, agreed. Brooches of Shielding, pretty damn strong. Carpet of Flying, lots of people could ride on it. Okay. Cloak of the Bat, really? Cloak of the Bat worth 100,000? What do we got over here? Cube of Force worth 100,000. Cube of Force should just go in the trash can. That's where Cube of Force should go. That's the first note I'm going to make. Cube of Force goes to the trash can. Alright, cool. Anybody that's putting Cube of Force on this table has not had to deal with Cube of Force in the game. So, just going to put that out there. Dragon Scale Mill, Dwarven Thrower, Frostbrand, Horn of Valhalla. So this is actually a huge list. Like, this is not a front-loaded list. Most of the really good shit is definitely towards the end of the list. However, they do consider 8th and 9th level spell scrolls to be equal in value, which is an interesting choice. Let's see. And apparently a Ring of Resistance is in the same category as a Ring of Regeneration. Not really feeling that one. And a Ring of Protection. You think a Ring of Protection is worth 100,000 gold? Again, this must be about like having an artificer that can just crank this shit out during downtime. Let's see what we got over here. Apparatus of Qualish. I guess it's worth 200,000 in so much as it's like a Ferrari, like a rare automobile kind of deal. I don't know. Armor +2. Wow, they really don't like their player characters to have armor. Armor of Invulnerability, Arrow Catching Shield, Crystal Ball, Defender, Holy Avenger, Ifrit Chain, Manual of Quickness of Action. This is better than the Ion Stone because it adds to your stats automatically, and doesn't require attunement. Rod of Lordly Might. Yeah, that's fair. And then the other tomes of permanent stat boosting. A shield +2. Huh. Okay. And then of course the whammies, the level 20 stuff. Definitely agree that Luck Blade, Ion Stone of Mastery, a Helm of Unlimited Teleportation, a Cloud Giant Strength Belt, and the Rings of Elemental Command should definitely be in the best category. Robe of Stars, Robe of Arch Magi, Staff of the Arch Magi, and Vorpal Sword. All right. And then these are items that they thought were so damn good that they don't even think that they should be in the game. So this is their list, apparently, of this shit too strong. I don't even know what to do with it. So, armor +3. I could see that. You get tired of people not being able to get hit. All right. Bag of Beads. Destroys action economy. Gotcha. Belt of Storm Giant Strength. Okay, just too damn strong. Mind Reading, Telepathy, True Seeing, Crystal Balls, Cubic Gate, Deck of Many Things. Well, I mean, you know, it's an artifact, so, and it's a campaign buster. Hammer of Thunderbolts. I wonder if that's not in there because it's terrible. Oh, no, it's probably not in there because you need the Storm Giant Strength Belt to activate it, if I remember correctly. Helm of Brilliance, Shield +3, a Sphere of Annihilation. Probably not something to give your players to keep. Talismans, Amulet of the Plains. Yeah, that wouldn't be fun as the DM if they could literally just go to any plane at any time they want to. There they are, the more powerful instruments of the Bard. I told you they were strong. They're so strong that they got put on the bad list. Iron Flask is you know, got an Ifrit and it's got to grant you some wishes, and then a Mirror of Life Trapping. Wow. Okay. So, I wanna use some empathy right now, and I want to understand where this Blackball fella is coming from, because he definitely has some magic items that he dislikes more than others, and I want to know who hurt him. But at the same time, like for Paradise Vale, this is kind of exactly what I'm looking for as far as like a guideline of what is acceptable, what is not acceptable, level of power, versatility, usefulness. Am I missing something, or did we not even see Broom of Flying? Oh, there it is. It's in category 8, worth 100,000 gold. That's fair. I don't know. I still don't know why the poor Cloak of the Back got put in there, though. It's kind of mean. Um, hmm. Wow. Okay. So I'm going to process that for a second. Let's see. So this section right here is treasure parcels. This is a system from 4E where you basically rolled treasure for the entire adventure, and then you looked at what was rolled, and then you divided it up across your adventure. I'm just going to sum up all this shit for you. So basically, for whatever arc you're in, if you're doing an ongoing campaign or just the adventure in general, if you're just running an adventure, you have a parcel, and then you look at the parcel and you decide how will I distribute these items and wealth throughout the entire adventure. So if it's a bunch of kobolds and they work for a dragon, the dragon is going to get ready for it, the dragon's share, yeah, of the treasure. So that's the thing. Yeah. If it's a bunch of orcs and they don't really have a leader, you'd probably divide the money evenly between all the different orcs. Maybe the biggest, toughest orc has more money. Maybe their strongest fighter has the one magical weapon, and then any extra shit is just in their community hall, right? So that's how parcels work. Instead of rolling like individual treasure, and then rolling a hoard for like a big treasure, you just do a parcel for the whole fucking adventure, and then you can distribute it however you want. I think that is a great way of doing it, and that's generally how I like to do it. If I am pressed for time, because of, I don't know, running 5 different campaigns or something, a lot of times loot will just be like the seat of my pants. It'll just be the seat of my pants. Now that I'm kind of cutting back on the number of campaigns I'm running and trying to have a bit more focus on the ones that I am running, I am going to start refining a lot of these processes quite a bit. So, also keep in mind that the money that they would receive as a quest reward, right, for doing the quest in the first place comes out of the parcel. So, payment for the mission, reward for the task, all of that comes out of the parcel. So, every 5th level adventure is going to be worth the same amount of money. So, if Old Man Jenkins is like, please go save my daughter, she got taken by the ogres, uh and like, I'm gonna spoil the ending. The ogres just needed a good cook, and she was a good cook, and everybody treated each other with a lot of respect. That's how the adventure happened. But you go to rescue her, and he could only pay you like 25 gold. Well, it doesn't matter because we rolled for the parcel, and if you 5-star this fucking adventure, you're gonna make just as much money taking this 25 GP from the old man and going to save his daughter, as you would, helping the nobleman who was going to pay you like 1,000 gold to do something, because it's the same amount of treasure. It's just distributed differently throughout the adventure, which ensures that as your party is growing, right, they are not getting too rich, because you were like, well, it just makes sense for like the nobleman to have a bunch of money, and they rolled a natural 20 on their persuasion check, so I had to pay them twice as much money. So now they're getting 2,000 gold, but I really wanted this ogre to be dual wielding flaming swords, so now I guess I got to give him those too. Like, this kind of helps you because it gives you like a budget for the adventure. It says this is how much you have to spend right here. This is everything. This is everything that's in the adventure. So use it wisely. And I really like that system. I like it quite a bit. And it starts to get really stupid in 4th edition. They'll be like, for this adventure, there are 14 parcels. These are the parcels. And you look at it and it's like 1 bajillion gold, 40 million gazillion diamonds. Like, 47 magical items. So 4th edition, it was a cool idea, the parcel thing, but 4th edition is so magic item heavy because they were kind of trying to emulate Worlds of Warcraft, if we're being honest, in a lot of ways. So they made equipment a huge part of the game. All right. So yeah, just like I said, if somebody offers to pay you 500 and you talk the price up, I mean, we would just go and take the extra money out of a different spot in the adventure. So you get to feel like Geralt of Rivia, like haggling with the NPCs about the price, but at the end of the day, you're gonna make the same amount of fucking money anyways. Communism. There you go. I like it. I like it quite a bit. All right. So that's pretty cool. Okay. Let's see. So level 1 parcels, a class 1 item and 50 gold. Always. Oh, nice. You don't even roll for it. It's completely standardized based on the size of the group. Oh, I like that quite a bit. I get tired of RNGs just like monkeying everything up. Oh, yeah, that's really cool. Let's see. Here's what I was talking about in 5th edition. Level 20 parcels. A class 10 item, a class 9 item, a class 8 item and 30,000 gold, 70,000 gold, a class 9 item and 30,000 gold, and so on and so forth. So these parcels get ridiculous. And that's okay though, because honestly, at level 20, if they have a wizard, they could just wish for 10,000 gold every day. And then that's it. They just wish for 10,000 gold every day. Like, money doesn't matter anymore. All right. One option you may wish to use if you're using these treasure parcels is to use milestone leveling rather than experience points, and make the event that triggers the new level be the acquisition of the last treasure parcel from the existing level. Yeah, that's pretty cool. This has the effect of turning the treasure parcel system into an XP for gold system without any extra work. Okay, it's kind of cool. These values, of course, are too high for Giffyglyph's darker dungeons, but they do serve as a good guideline, I think. All right. Let's see. And I think Giffyglyphs has his own guidelines about how much wealth should be handed out per thing in a similar treasure partial system. So treasure parcels is already on the menu, as it were. All right. Let's see. Yeah, so as they find stuff, you cross things off the list until you've handed out all the treasure if you didn't go and allocate it ahead of time. So that's kind of cool. Let's see. Yeah, I dig it. All right. Also, I believe one of the advice that they gave you is if you have a new person joining, you could equip that new character out of that adventure's parcel so that the new character could start with equipment but isn't essentially bloating the party, because that's something unfortunately that happens a lot if you have a game where people die a lot. Is somebody dies, everybody feels bad about it, and you can't just be like, well, your new character's level 1 and naked, so you're like, your new character's the same level as your last character, and then they're like, but do I have any magic items? Do I get to start with any wealth? According to the Dungeon Master's guide, or the player's handbook, I get to start with X number of, gold and this much magic items and all that kind of stuff. Well, the problem is, it's not like when they died, all of their equipment exploded into beautiful radiant particles, right? Like the rest of the party was like a pack of hyenas. They jumped on that dead person, they took all their best equipment, and they divvied it up among the group. So you actually end up with groups where if somebody's dying all the time, that person, every time they die, they're generating more treasure for the rest of the group. And then the group just starts playing sloppy because they know that if they die, they're going to generate more treasure. Maybe they don't realize that's why they're playing sloppy, but that's what happens. So the idea here is that, okay, you died and your new character Sophia shows up. Cool. Sophia's level 5. What kind of items are you thinking about Sophia starting with? And they're like, oh, well, I like this, this, and this. And as they pick out those items, you go and you cross off this adventure's treasure parcel so that you could equip Sophia. So and you don't have to be sneaky about this. Like, death should carry consequences. You let the rest of the group know that, hey, because Sophia's can't be starting naked, she's gonna be essentially taking your treasure before you ever get it. So maybe don't let her die next time. You know? And that's a really smart way of doing it. So all right. Man, this is good. This is a very good set of house rules. All right, hoard item tables. If you prefer to use random treasure tables, this is a section for you. I'll go with parcels. That's fine. Yeah. Apparently, they don't really support this either because it's 1 page long. It's like they put it in here because they felt like they had to. All right, Section 5, Published Adventures. Section 3 and 4 of this document gave rules and guidelines for having characters acquire treasure by parcels, and random hoards. However, both of these assume that you are designing and controlling the adventure. But if you're using a published adventure, this is the case. Adventure writers are hacks. They don't actually play enough D&D to make good decisions. No, it doesn't say that. But it kind of does. They have placed items that are cheap based on the MG prices, but are not cheap based on our prices. Okay, some of these items are essential to the plot. Obviously, you can't ignore these items or put in your own instead. You may have to leave these items in and either work around their value or simply hand wave it and assume things will be fine in the long term if you replace everything else except them. Yeah, so I don't even know what to say to that. Yeah. All right, here's a good example. In Tomb of Annihilation, there is a Mirror of Life trapping. Mirror of Life trapping was listed as too powerful to categorize, according to this guide. So it's worth over 200,000 gold. But the writers are like, don't worry, fam, we've got you. Acererak glued it to the wall with the magic glue. The only way to get it off is with the universal solvent. Haha. Okay, so here's what players are going to do, right? They're just going to take the fucking wall. That's it. They're just going to take the fucking wall. So they take the wall and the mirror. And you think to yourself, they can't do that. That's cheating. But like that's what makes D&D different than a video game, right? In a video game, I could say you can't loot this, and that's the end of it. In D&D, if I put something down and they want it, they're gonna take it. They're gonna find a way to take it. Even if we have to sit there for 4 hours, they're gonna figure out a way. And I'm gonna tell you another thing: a lot of people that play D&D are very smart. They're smarter than you and me. I'm gonna tell you that right now. So they're gonna bust out those engineering brains and those mathematics brains and those science brains, and they're gonna come up with shit that you never imagined was possible. So don't ever think that you're smarter than your players, because when it comes to being greedy, they are the smartest people in the whole world. They will find a way to get the treasure that you didn't want them to get. 100%. Okay. Just that's a little spiel there. All right. Let's see. Wealth by level. Unlike older editions, the DMG doesn't contain a table telling us a nice wealth curve, because they kind of hand waved it. They're like, I don't know. Like, we play tasted this shit up to level 9. That should be good enough. Yeah. Let's see. By using the values on this curve, we could work out how much wealth an individual character will gain each level. As noted, the treasure parcels in section 3 of this document follow the curve exactly, and the treasure hoards will average out to this curve. I trust you, math person. I trust you. However, simply telling up all the treasure the characters gain at each level is enough. Characters don't usually manage to save every copper that they acquire. They have living expenses. They spend gold on ephemeral things such as services or consumable items. Blah, blah, blah. All these activities result in characters having less gold and assets than they have acquired to date. The question is, how much of this total acquired wealth do they still have, and how much have they spent? There is, of course, no way to answer this. It will vary from campaign to campaign. Let's see. In this section, we are making the assumption the character will have spent or lost 25% of their total wealth and will still have assets equal to the other 75%. Assets being magical items, armor, equipment, all that jazz. So, if a character joins your group, here's what they're saying. They can have a max starting item of this much and this much to spend. Okay. When creating a new character is tempting for a player to give them a single most powerful magical item worth most of the starting cash. This is unrealistic because an existing character would have been finding wealth in smaller increments. For this reason, it shows the maximum class of magical item that they could get. Smart. Alright, and here's the crafting system. This section introduces a conversion of 4th edition's Residuum, except we've replaced it with Essence because Residuum is a stupid word. It's also a word that I am incapable of pronouncing correctly. Help me out, like,
1 Blackball's treasure section 1.
I just wanted you to read that word for me, not the whole document. Whatever. I gotta skip to the bottom. For anyone out there that has to use a screen reader, I feel sad for you. I feel sad for you. Screeners are they got a long way to go still. Oh man, now the whole thing's janked up. Okay, but I agree. I don't think I ever want to use that word again. We'll just call it essence. So that's probably the top thing that I picked up from this guide. Essence instead of residuum. Maybe this'll pronounce it for me without freaking out.
Residuum.
Residuum. Yeah, we'll go with essence. That's fine. Also, there we go. All right, so back down here at the bottom, we've obviously gone too far because we're on a table. Item pricing. They explain why they did it. Here we go. The 4th edition crafting system converted to 5th edition so that I don't have to do the work myself. Alright, it's compatible with the rest of the document. Good. Throughout the multiverse, magical substances. Good. Alchemists and magic users have learned to extract it. It's called essence. Again, because residuum is too hard to say. Silvery fluid, which faintly resembles quicksilver. Sounds cool. It has almost no mass. It has neutral buoyancy in both air and water, which is kind of hype. Essence is mostly inert and can be safely stored for weeks or even months. It does not evaporate or get absorbed into materials, but after a very long time, it may spontaneously disappear while powering an unpredictable magical effect. I like that quite a bit. Essence is normally measured in drams, like alcohol, spirits, and other alchemical substances. I like that. A single dram of essence is around a teaspoonful. Okay, so we actually have some physical measurements. That's fun. When considering the storage of large amounts of essence, a flask can hold around 100 drams, a bucket can hold around 3,000 drams, and a barrel can hold around 25,000 drams. A barrel of magical essence. That's cool. It is not toxic, although most animals will avoid eating it. Various folk myths about essence talk about pregnant women eating it in order to increase the likelihood of their children being born as sorcerers, or people getting magical powers or bizarre temporary effects. In reality, you eat essence, you won't digest it, it will poop you out your butthole. All right. Of course, there is a very small chance that the essence has been hanging around for a long time. There could be some bizarre magical effects. Okay. If your DM's feeling spicy. A character who is proficient with the alchemy kit can use it to distill essence from substances containing it. No ability check is needed. If using materials with only trace amounts of magic in them, such as plants, herbs, crystals, it takes a large quantity of raw materials to yield significant amounts of essence. This is totally, if you're into Critical Role, the Nation of Whitestone. This is what this whole thing is about. The Whitestone has a higher concentration of essence in it. They refine it to get the essence out. So that's what this is talking about. All right. It is possible to produce far more essence from the corpses of magical creatures. Okay, it took a grim turn. The corpse of a creature, one of these types, will yield a number of drams of essence equal to this formulae. 5 times their challenge rating times their challenge rating? Okay. Roundless to the nearest dram, so creatures with a challenge rating of half yield only a single dram, and creatures with a challenge rating below that yield nothing. I find it very disturbing that people are going to be going around with their alchemy kit, extracting all the magical essence for everything they kill. I would probably argue that you couldn't loot the corpse for monster parts for other shit if you were essentially melting them down to get stuff this way. Okay. So essence distilling times. It's also going to take some time. 8 hours for a huge creature. 3 days for a gargantuan creature. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Also, if the corpse has been messed up and they don't have it, they get a smaller portion of it. The main reason to use essence is to store or transport magical power. It's far easier to store a flask of essence than it is a dead chimera. Okay, fair. Storing and transporting magical power is of no use. Well, wouldn't they just start a chimera farm, as fucked up as that is to say, and then just kill magical creatures, grind them up in a factory? I feel like there's some issues with this system already. They're not thinking like about the Soylent Green aspect of all this. All right. For every 5 GP worth of material components that should be consumed by the spell, 1 dram of essence can be used instead. This is a normal thing for 4E. Note that if essence is used to power a spell, the spell must be entirely powered by essence. You can't go halvesies on it. Okay, essence can act as the raw ingredient for any substance that can be made using an alchemy kit. Okay, that's super simplifying the whole system of gameplay. That's fine, I guess. Essence can be used to enchant magical items. See the spells in this section for more details. The idea behind being able to craft magical items from essence is to decouple magic items somewhat from the monetary economy. Characters crafting their own magic items remove the need for magic item shops or similar brokers, and the player characters needing to travel to big cities in order to trade after each adventure, with teleportation circle providing easy and cheap transport between cities. This is merely a chore than an exciting adventure anyways. So on the one hand, crafting magic items from essence lets the characters get the items they want without having to go city to city to find them. I've experienced that myself. And there's no need for shops full of magical items waiting to be robbed. Okay, this is like kind of changing my life a little bit. The spells of this section all deal with essence in one way or another. They are designed to be added to the following lists. So enchant item, gather essence, disenchant, Bard gets enchant item and gather essence. Cleric gets disenchantment and enchant item. Druid gets distill essence, enchant item, gather essence. Sorcerer gets disenchantment, enchant item. Warlock gets distill essence, enchant item, and Wizard gets disenchantment, distill essence, enchant item, and gather essence. Well, I'm going to stop you right there because in 4th edition, these were all just feats. If you wanted to make magical items, you took a feat and you learned how to make magical items. I don't think it should be wrapped up in classes. I think spellcasters already get more than their fair share of everything in 5th edition. So I will read these spells to get, to understand the mechanics, but I would definitely prefer it to be a feat system instead. All right, let's see. Disenchantment, you remove the enchantment from a magical item. The item is physically unharmed, but you get all of that sweet, sweet drams out of it. Here's how many drams you get. Cool. You do not get you do not get your money back. Look at that. Remember that a class 10 item is 20,000 gold. You're only getting 40,000 drams out of it. So one would also argue that that is a lot of quicksilver coming out of a sword if you were to use that. So you'd have to have a lot of barrels handy to fill up with all that quicksilver. Distill essence. You extract all the essence from a corpse of a creature, depositing it into the container which forms the material component of the spell. If the corpse is not whole, you only get a portion of the essence. Again, I think I'd still like to make that a feat. A really fucked up feat, but that would prevent, I think, a lot of like the Soylent Green factories from being started. Enchant item. You would fuse a mundane item with essence. I don't like the idea of enchanting a mundane item. I feel like you should still have to do Monster Hunter crafting as part of the system, and then add the magic essence to it. The type of enchantment needed must be a standard magic item. The amount of essence that must be absorbed by the item during the casting spell is based on the class of the item. Class 1 requires 10 drams. A class... okay, so you're getting half back from disenchantment. You're not getting totally hosed. Notice that the essence is part of the target spell. All you'd have to do for this is... Yeah, like... It says here you can cast a spell using a spell slot higher. With the feat, you just say it's based on your character levels. Don't worry about it. Gather essence. Or you could go kind of hype and they have to invest their hit dice into it. And so you're only going to have a certain number of hit dice per level. So as the final part of enchanting an item, you have to burn X number of hit dice. X number of hit dice, of course, equal to whatever level you're currently at. That is the minimum to burn, which could be kind of cool. Gathering essence. Let's see. Concentration. You touch the corpse of a magical creature. You gather all the essence within that creature. Okay. Is drawn into the location that you touch. Okay. That's pretty cool. And then item pricing. All right. I like this guide. I like this guide quite a bit. I will definitely be using this guide for new campaigns and Paradise Vale. With some changes, of course. So definitely a cool one. It definitely makes me want to check out this this Gurbintrll a bit more, see what they're all about. Because if they wrote something this well thought out and mathed out and everything else, they might have some other good information.